What is going on, guys? Papa C back with the video for you guys. And today I'm bringing you another video in our series of our Pokemon Draft League guide. I know it's been like maybe 6 months since I made the last video, but here we are, we're back. If you're excited for the return, you want to see more, leave a like down below. Your support's greatly appreciated. So, getting right into the video. This one's not scripted, by the way. I feel like in the past, whenever I script my videos, it's hard for me to like make good videos when I script them. Then again, it's hard in general for me to make good videos. But anyway, today we're going to be looking at the new Sun and Moon meta, of course. We're going to be looking at Pokemon, old Pokemon that I think will be better in draft leagues coming up. Now, disclaimer, I have not played in any draft leagues. I am taking a part in a draft league council, I guess you could say, where we're like tiering things out and testing things out to see where they're going to go. So this is all entirely theory. However, I figured with Pokemon Bank coming out so soon, a lot of leagues are going to start up then, because then you have access to Pokemon like Heatran and Landers, which you can't even get yet in Sun and Moon. So, I want to talk about some older Pokemon that I think will have much more viability in this new meta. Some of them are obvious, some are not very obvious. I only have 6 in this video. I feel like there's a ton more I could talk about. Maybe another video I'll make, like part 2 or whatever. But the first Pokemon, probably the most obvious, is Pelipper. Pelipper shot up in Draft League viability. Taking a look at Pokemon Showdown here. Really the only thing that changed about Pelipper is that it got Rain Dish. It's so freaking good now. You got Rain Dish. This thing, I think this thing is much better than Politoed in terms of a rain setter. I know Politoed is bulkier, and Politoed can do other things that aren't just setting up the rain, because it does get Storm Drain, which is pretty useful. But this thing, you can put a Choice Scarf if you want. I think that's kind of funny. Choice Scarf, U-turn, just get the rain and go away. You might just be better off running the, what is it called? The Rain Dish Rock? I don't even know. The Rain Rock, whatever it's called. U-turn, Hurricane. This thing gets Rain Dish and 100 accuracy Hurricanes. That is so good. This Pokemon I think will shoot up in viability. Pretty sure every league had this thing at like the absolute bottom rank, tier 5, D rank, whatever your league calls it. If you're going by a point system, it's probably the lowest points for this thing. And I think now this thing will go up to tier 1, tier 2, be one of the most valuable things because it is such a good rain set. And I feel like rain in this generation as a whole got a pretty decent buff, especially with the circuitry if your league allows that. Tapu Koko, lots of cool things. This thing also can handle Marowak, which I think will be a pretty big threat in leagues. Of course, you can only get one Marowak per league, but I feel like Marowak is going to be a pretty nice tier 2, maybe tier 3 pick for a lot of leagues, and Pelipper can handle that. Next up, kind of stemming off the whole Marowak thing, is I feel like Gyarados will do pretty well. I feel like with electric types getting better, you see a lot of more people use ground types like Mamoswine and things that are just weak to water like Alolan Marowak, and Gyarados can counter that. Gyarados got a lot more viability in VGC lately. A lot of teams have been using him in VGC teams. You know, you still get your Intimidate, you still get your Moxie. I guess by association, Mega Gyarados got a little bit better too. I'm not really going to focus on Megas because I still don't know how leagues will treat Megas. I know a lot of leagues are just allowing the Megas that are legal. The problem is I believe there's only 16 obtainable Megas if you don't count like Mega Lucario and Mega Mewtwo and stuff like that. So a lot of leagues can't really afford to use Megas or require them like they were in the past. But I do still think Gyarados has a lot more viability than it did. Intimidate, it's still good. Really, Gyarados really only got better because there's other things that got better this thing can counter, if that makes any sense. I personally think Gyarados always was a good draft pick. I really don't think it'll go above that tier 2-ish slot. I don't think it's really worth a tier 1 slot. The way I look at it is I feel like tier 1 Pokemon should be like your best 3 Pokemon on your team, and I really don't think Gyarados can really compete with the likes of Tapu Koko, Tapu Lele if your league allows that, any of the Ultra Bees that will be tier 1 for leagues allows that, even old school tier 1s that were really sought after like Excadrill and Manaphy. I really don't think Gyarados can compete with those, but I think it'll be a Pokemon that'll be a good counter. I don't know how many times I said that, but anyway. Next up, a Pokemon that actually got a little bit worse, but I really don't think it's that bad still, is Gengar. Gengar, as I'm sure you guys know unless you've been living under a rock, it does not get the ability to levitate anymore. It gets Cursed Body, which, I mean, is kind of cool. If this Pokemon is hit by attack, there's a 30% chance the move gets disabled. I mean, Gengar, you're not really going to live many hits anyway. Levitate was nice because you could switch into it, you know, take an Earthquake because you're immune to it and then go for another attack. Gengar still gets a really good amount of coverage. I do think a lot of leagues will not undervalue this, but lower this in their ranking system. I do think instead of being a tier 1 pick, this will be a tier 2 in a lot of leagues. I do still think it's a very good Pokemon and a very valuable Pokemon to have on your team. Just because, like, most Gen 1 Pokemon just get stupid coverage. Like, you got Dark Pulse, you got Clear Smog, I mean, why not? You got Destiny Bond, that's not really coverage, but you got Energy Ball, you got Explosion, if you want to run Explosion, I don't know why you would. You get Hidden Powers, obviously. You get a lot of good stuff. Thunderbolt, Taunt, Sludge Wave and Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball, Trick, Will-O-Wisp, Toxic. I think that this thing could actually be more viable if you run like a Will-O-Wisp set, maybe against all theory, but losing left is unfortunate, but I do still think Gengar is very good. Now, taking a look at the next Pokemon, this Pokemon is probably the Pokemon I'm more excited about to see in leagues than any other Pokemon, and that is Flygon. Only difference, Flygon gets Dragon Dance now. That's actually pretty big. You look at the stat distribution, it's nothing really too great. 100 attack, 100 speed is pretty good. It's not the best, but it's not that bad. 80s and everything else is pretty bad. You do have a decent special move pool. I guess that's something you can take into account. There is some special moves you could run. However, the fact this thing gets Dragon Dance, I think, will make it a little bit better. Generally speaking, Flygon's always a Pokemon that I considered using in draft leagues because it's Dragon type, cool ability in Levitate, decent speed at 100, and it gets a U-turn. For me, generally speaking, whenever I say that a lot, whenever I draft Pokemon, I usually go for the fat stuff. Like, I go for like 2 or 3 fat mons, and then a bunch of fast things that I can slap a Choice Scarf on and put U-turn on, and Flygon really fits that. And the fact that it's Dragon Dance now, a lot of leagues, like I know the NPA, I think the GBA too had this in the tier 3 slot. I really think this thing will be a tier 2 in a lot of leagues. I do think it's worth a tier 2 slot. If you look at other dragons that tend to be tier 2, there is Salamence. You probably are better off 9 times out of 10 going for Salamence, but Flygon is not a bad backup in this slightest. If I had a draft plan, right, and I wanted Salamence really bad, and Salamence got sniped and I got Flygon to me, I really wouldn't be that upset. And then next up, we got an interesting Pokemon. We got Liepard. Liepard's a Pokemon that I never had the pleasure of using. I really wish I could have used it in the past, in 6th gen and stuff. This thing, it gets Prankster, it gets Thunder Wave, it gets Swagger if your league allows that. Then again, if your league allows Swagger, you should really ask them to not allow that because it's pretty dumb. Liepard got better in some ways and worse in some ways. I don't really see it being higher than a tier 4. I feel like some leagues might put it at tier 3 or that in that whatever their equivalent of tier 3 is. I'm pretty sure the NPA had it at tier 5, and I'm pretty sure the PGL had it at like the lowest possible tier. This thing is Prankster. It's a dark type, making it immune to other Prankster users like Klefki, which is pretty cool. However, Klefki is a fairy type, so fairy types could just kill you because you're a dark type. Thunder Wave got nerfed a little bit. It's only 90 accurate. I really don't think it's that bad. Like, it is nice that you can miss Thunder Wave now because Thunder Wave isn't just the end-all be-all of your team. Thunder Wave also doesn't make you as slow as in the past, which is actually pretty decent. So Liepard in some ways got worse, but in some ways got better. I still think Liepard is a very good value pick for a late round. It's a Pokemon that I really would consider using in the future. It just the thing with Liepard is I don't really have a lot of teams that fit Liepard. Like, whenever I planted a team, Liepard just doesn't always fit. It gets U-turn though. It gets U-turn and decent speed stat. So that's another utility for this Pokemon. It's not just a Prankster Pokemon. You could lead with it. Sorry for that awkward cut here, but there was some loud stuff going on in the background. But our last Pokemon we have to look at here is Magnezone. I feel like the reason why Magnezone is going to be so much better in leagues now, and I guess by association Magneton too, is because of Magnapult. Now, I have used Magneton in a league in the past, and I feel like in a lot of situations, it is just more valuable to take Magneton over Magnezone because Magneton is cheaper, Magneton can have the Eviolite, Magneton does a lot of the same things. But in this generation, Eviolite is worse. Eviolite only gives you a 1.25 boost to your defenses rather than the 1.5 it did in the previous generations. So you could argue that now Magnezone is the superior pick. However, there is situations where you want to save that value and go for a Magneton. Either way, Magnapult in general I feel like is better because of Celesteela. I see a lot of leagues allowing Celesteela, and of the few leagues that I have watched that have had a draft already, mainly Showdown leagues obviously because Pokebank's not out yet, a lot of the time, Celesteela is one of those top 5 picks, and Celesteela is kind of a pain, and you definitely want something to deal with it, and Magnezone could be that thing. Now, this really isn't the best answer because I don't know Celesteela's attack or speed stat on top of my head. I have to look for it though, but Celesteela has 61 speed, which is so annoying because Magnezone has 60 speed. So you're gonna have to invest speed to outspeed Celesteela, but if they, for whatever reason, run a max speed Celesteela, it doesn't matter because they're gonna outspeed you anyway, and Celesteela gets Fire Blast, which can kill your Magnezone. So I feel like Magnapult as a whole is better in this generation in a draft format. However, it is a bit annoying that Celesteela gets Fire Blast. Basically, all in all, I do think that you should really consider having a magnet puller, or at least just some sort of trapper on your team. Maybe Dugtrio, Alolan Dugtrio doesn't get Arena Trap, but Celestia is a threat, and you should really have something on your team to address that threat. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. I definitely want to do more of these in the future. However, it's kind of hard for me to think of some topics. I guess the Sun and Moon just coming out, and with a lot of leaks starting up, that'll, bring some more inspiration for the series. But as of right now, I don't really have any other ideas. If you have some ideas, leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I will see you guys next time, and bye-bye.